Emotional hygiene. Say goodbye to box thinking and emotional buildup. Attaining emotional health is not a one-time event. Rather, emotional well-being is an ongoing, dynamic, proactive process, just like any other healthy lifestyle behavior. Emotions are a physiological experience, meaning they happen in the body. When we experience an emotion, our biology changes. Heart rate, breathing, muscle tension, blood pressure, and even temperature can all shift when an emotion fires. To prevent the effects of emotional buildup, like overwhelm, sleeplessness, fatigue, anxiety, depression, bodies must metabolize each emotion that occurs. And we do this by paying attention to the emotional sensations in our bodies. When we are not aware and do not know what we are feeling or where we are feeling it, emotions get stuck. We become emotionally clogged and buildup happens. Listen on to learn how to sidestep box thinking and invalidation, both recipes for emotional buildup and the antidote to freedom and empowerment. The importance of daily emotional hygiene. With other health behaviors, such as eating, we understand the need to attend to this habit daily if we want results. For example, if after years of eating nothing but unhealthy processed junk, we changed to a healthy eating lifestyle, we wouldn't tell ourselves that after a week or even a month of healthy eating that we are healed. Even more so, we wouldn't go back to a diet of processed foods, head for that fast food drive-through, and expect to have stellar health and maintain our nutritional gains. We would understand that to continue to reap the health benefits, like stabilized weight, even energy, balanced mood, trouble-free digestion, we must continue our regular practice of feeding ourselves nutritious foods. Most of us are not taught to take time out of our day for emotional processing. Much like brushing our teeth or other personal hygiene habits, emotional health requires daily attention. What prevents daily emotional hygiene? Box thinking and invalidation. Box thinking. Quote, "I've already dealt with that." Instead of viewing emotional health and processing as a daily practice, people sometimes are under the false assumption that they have dealt with whatever emotional experience they have endured, meaning that they have talked about it, experienced emotions, and can now put it away, never to be felt again. I have heard people use the phrase, "I've already dealt with that," to describe their emotional processing of the death of a close loved one or past abuses or trauma. Other phrases under the "I've dealt with it" umbrella include, "I've already talked about that in therapy," or "I've cried about that. I have no more tears to shed." It is as though the emotional experience is a box to be opened and examined, and then taped shut and put up in the rafters, never to be seen again. What's the problem with box thinking? The problem with box thinking is that box thinking equals emotional buildup. I once heard a friend use the phrase, "I've already dealt with that," regarding her father's death, meaning that she was not supposed to have further emotions about it because she felt what was there and then neatly put it away. Taking my friend as an example, can you imagine her not feeling anything when her father was not able to be at her wedding, the birth of her children, holidays, other important markers in her life? Of course not. Emotions are not dealt with and then put away in a box and tied up with a bow. Remember, emotions are a dynamic, flowing, ever-changing process. Emotions are not a one-time event that happens and then goes away forever, especially when the event prompting the emotion is significant to us. When we view emotions this way, we tend to deny ourselves the opportunity to feel them. For instance, if we decide that we are no longer allowed to mourn a loss in our lives, like breakup, divorce, job loss, death, we learn to quickly shut it down when the feelings of sadness or grief start to appear. We lock it into that box and distract ourselves, rationalize that we don't really feel that way, and inadvertently create a layer of emotional buildup. Invalidation. Quote, "There's nothing wrong. Why am I crying?" This statement often precedes a judgment such as, "This is so stupid," or "There's no reason to cry," or "I don't understand what my problem is." People even apologize while wiping away their tears. When we can slow things down and approach the tears or sadness or pain from a curious and non-judgmental space, we can always validate the emotional experience. Emotions are sufficiently explained by science. They are a physiological experience and fire when something prompts them. Feelings do not randomly fall out of the sky. If we are experiencing an emotion, by definition, that emotion makes sense. Even if you cannot see the cause in the moment, the mere fact that you are experiencing an emotion means that something prompted that emotion to fire. When we can get curious instead of judgmental about our feelings, we can better understand where they are coming from and what we need. I have never once walked away from a therapy session or a conversation with somebody where I'm thinking, "Yeah, I don't know why you're crying either." There is always a reason. And if we are curious and interested, we can understand. I may ask a patient of mine a few questions about what's been going on or what was happening right before the person cried. And it is almost always something clearly upsetting. I might hear about a conversation where a person was informed that they did a horrible job or they just had an experience that made them think of how much they miss their mother. Typically, something happened that understandably led to sadness. But instead, they judged themselves for feeling, and this clouded their ability to comprehend. Benefits of daily emotional hygiene. Wouldn't it be liberating to allow ourselves to freely experience emotions as they ebb and flow, without trying to categorize them or saying when we should be feeling them? Imagine knowing that we can handle whatever emotion comes our way, that we know how to ride the waves, and we are valid in our experiences. Envision being able to trust our bodies to the degree that when we feel something, regardless of its content, we immediately respond, "Oh, something is happening here. And it must make sense even if I don't know why, because I am feeling it." All of this can happen, and I have seen it happen with so many of my clients, with a daily emotional hygiene practice as their foundation. Emotions happen daily, just like healthy or non-healthy eating occurs every day. If we want robust emotional health and the kind of clarity and empowerment that comes from processing our emotions, we must practice. Listen to the following daily emotional hygiene practice to help clear the clouds of emotional buildup, gain regular access to your wisdom, the ability to see clearly, and learn to trust in your body and yourself.